The South Union Township Supervisors presents the South Union Township Sports Network today from Mount Pleasant High School. It's high school girls basketball as the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs take on the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings. Hi, everybody. This is Joshua Scully with the South Union Township Sports Network alongside Bill Dice tonight. This coverage is a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable, plus our friends at CU TV, including Gary Smith. Gary, if you happen to be listening to this, Happy New Year. We hope you're doing well. Again, this is Joshua Scully alongside Bill Dice, and in just a few moments, we will have your starting lineups for you for tonight. Before we get into the starting lineups, let's take a moment and acknowledge everyone who helped to make this broadcast possible. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and the South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. If you're watching this game on Breezeline or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television to find the archived broadcasts, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for live games, facebook.com/South Union TV. We want to thank you again for listening tonight, and we're going to share our starting lineups with you for this evening before we get into some opening thoughts from Bill and I on tonight's contest. Starting for the Lady Mustangs tonight, they are your guests, and they will begin this contest working across your screen left to right. They are in their red uniform, blue and white trim, and a blue number. Their starting lineup will look like this. Number 1, Maya Harris. Number 2, Ayera Jenkins. Number 5, Taylor Swartfager. Number 11, Ariana Sumter. And number 15, Taylor Irwin. That's Harris, Jenkins, Swartfager, Sumter, and Irwin tonight for the Lady Mustangs. A very good starting lineup for them, of course, and one that they have had a great deal of success with in the past for head coach Stu Davis. For the Lady Vikings tonight, under the direction of head coach Scott Hillen, the longtime women's coach at Penn State Fayette, the Eberly campus. He's assisted tonight by Chloe Jaworski. We want to thank Coach Jaworski for helping us out with the Lady Vikings roster, as well as some name pronunciations for you. Starting lineup for the Lady Vikings tonight will look like this. Number 0, Morgan Jasinski. Number 21, Laurel Rummel. Number 23, Riley Drowsel. Number 24, Danica Trainer. And number 25, Grace Aringo. That's Jasinski, Rummel, Drowsel, Trainer, and Aringo for the Lady Vikings. The Lady Vikings tonight are in a white uniform. They will be working right to left across your screen to get this one started. Their uniform includes some red and blue trim as well. And Bill, we have seen tonight here, of course, we are in Viking country in Mount Pleasant. We have seen the horned helmets on a few spectators and players too.
Yes, it's always fun to come down here in Mount Pleasant. The fans get really into the game, and as you can see, they are here ready to play, and we'll see what happens. Can you hear me now, Josh?
All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're having just a moment of technical difficulty. I can always do this.
How about now, Josh?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do that. Let's go with that.
Can you hear me okay?
No, I can't hear you now. All right, let's try this. All right, Josh, can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me.
But if I go like this, I can probably hear you either way.
I can hear you. This is strange. All right, let's just go with it. We'll see what we can do.
I can hear you a little bit to the point where, like right now, I can hear you.
You can hear me through your headphones?
I can hear you through my headphones right now.
Good or not good enough?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty well, actually.
Oh, okay, well, maybe we're good then.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
All right, sorry, folks.
I feel like it might be a matter of even how I'm standing with the cord. I think as long as I don't move again, I'm going to be okay.
Hey, you just got to stand still for the next 2 hours.
That's right. I can do it.
All right, so where were we?
We were discussing the horned helmets, and then we had said coming into this one, of course, Mount Pleasant, maybe the single greatest story coming in here, the Lady Vikings looking for their first win, and the Lady Mustangs looking to rebound after a very tough loss to Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, it's kind of funny if you take a look out here. The two teams kind of mirror each other, the red, white, and blue for both teams, so it's kind of like an odd trick for you when you first look out there. But like you said, Mount Pleasant, they've been struggling to put some points on the board, so hopefully they can put up a little bit better showing tonight than they have much of the season. And the Lady Mustangs, they came off a tough loss against Indiana at the Latrobe Finals in their Christmas tournament. But, that game was a 27-24 game, Josh. So like we talked about on the way down here, that must have been a defensive battle where both teams are just really holding the ball. And, Indiana is always a tough 5A basketball opponent, so another good matchup for the Lady Mustangs. If you look at the Lady Mustangs, they have a 6-4 record on the season, which doesn't look all that great. But they've played some really tough competition in those games. So I know Coach Stu Davis is worried about getting ready for the playoffs, not worried about what his overall record is. As long as they get in, they have a chance to beat anybody and make a nice run in the WPIALs in the States.
And it's remarkable, Bill, for this Lady Mustangs team, in those 4 losses, none of them were by more than 4 points. You had a 4-point loss a few weeks ago, just before the holiday, to Elizabeth Forward. You had that 3-point loss to Indiana, a 2-point loss to Morgantown, and a 2-point loss to South Park. So over the course of 4 losses, and that's 11 points, separating you from a tie, essentially, in all of those games.
And, Josh, if we look back, too, that Elizabeth Forward game was the last game we brought to the fans. They could have won that game. They played that game with Orion and Sumter without her.
Right.
So, I mean, that could have been a huge victory for the Lady Mustangs, but unfortunately it didn't go their way. So hopefully we can get, back on the winning track and, keep moving up the section standings.
And I think we'll take a moment here for just a short break as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem at Mount Pleasant High School.
Your Mount Pleasant area Vikings. Regardless of the outcome of today's contest, we ask that all spectators consider the time and effort that each of these young participants have put forth to represent their school. The purpose of this activity is to provide positive learning experiences and opportunities for personal growth. The participants, cheerleaders, officials, and spectators can and are expected to assist in the promotion and achievement of good sportsmanship ideals by taking personal responsibility for keeping this contest at a high level of fair, clean, and wholesome competition. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise, remove your hats, and better join our first to salute the flag as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. Joshua Scully with you tonight alongside Bill Dice. We are in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania at Mount Pleasant High School for this evening's contest between the hosting Lady Vikings and your visitors, the Lady Mustangs from Laurel Highlands. And I do believe we had some Mustang faithful make the trip up Route 119 from the Uniontown area to Mount Pleasant. Of course, not a difficult drive, and we want to wish you a Happy New Year as well as we prepare to get this one underway. Again, the Lady Mustangs will be working left to right across your screen. They are in their red uniform tonight with some blue and white trim and a blue number. The Lady Vikings are in their white uniform, red and blue trim with a blue number. They will be working right to left. The Lady Mustangs under the direction of head coach Stu Davis. The Lady Vikings under the direction of head coach Scott Hillen. And Bill, certainly one element of this game is, despite the fact that we are mid-season, this is a new year. It is a contest being played in 2025 for the first time for both of these teams, and maybe a chance for both to turn the page on a few shortcomings. Of course, for the Lady Mustangs, there have been very few shortcomings to this point. For the Lady Vikings, maybe the beginning of a new chapter.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope we can see a good game tonight, and happy to be here. Happy New Year to everybody out there listening and watching. We'll just look for a good game, and hopefully the Lady Mustangs come out on top.
It's going to be Grace Aringo who steps into the center circle right on the Viking and right on the V here at center court at Mount Pleasant. She'll be paired up against Aera Jenkins for the Lady Mustangs. And Jenkins going to win this tip, sends it way across the court to Harris, who saves it. She's going to move it up top to Swartfager. Swartfager will drift high back near the timeline. Now moves to our wing. She gets it to Irwin. Irwin operating off the wing, and she's going to travel, sliding that pivot foot behind her as she made her move. Wanted to go inside with the pass, and this will be an opportunity for the Lady Vikings. Stepping out to send this one in for the Lady Vikings will be Riley Drozel. Pass comes to Aringo. Aringo, a big one across the court. And possessing the ball now, number 0, Morgan Jasinski. Looks our way to our wing, number 21, Rummel, to the baseline. Drozel brings this one back out, resets it with Jasinski, Morgan Jasinski. Where's number 0? She's the only starter for the Lady Vikings who has a single-digit number. Everybody else is in the 20s. Ball on the far sideline. Now, top of the key, look here to number 23, Drozel. Moves one back outside to Trainer on the far wing. Trainer going to advance to the baseline, gets cut off there, and the pass back outside to Jasinski is jumped by Swartfager, and it's the first steal of the game for the Lady Mustangs. Swartfager working across the far wing. Now inside, look to Jenkins. Jenkins, little handoff pass to a cutting Swartfager, who lays it in easily for 2, and the Lady Mustangs lead 2-0 here after a minute of basketball, and Harris nearly comes up with another steal. This ball will stay with the Lady Vikings. But a pretty strong start, Bill, so far for the Lady Mustangs, and we see perhaps from the Lady Vikings what will be a slower style offense.
Yes, nice steal there, almost in second steal, and a nice pass from Jenkins to Swartfager there on that last possession.
Drozel going to operate off the far wing, moves it to our wing to Jasinski. Jasinski trying to lead Aringo inside. Aringo goes up for 2, won't have it off the rim. Rebound's going to go to Sumter. Sumter, of course, brings a very dynamic presence to the paint here for the Lady Mustangs, and we're looking forward to seeing her back in action tonight. Inside look to Sumter. Here she is, up for 2 and easily done. Good pass there from Harris to lead her in. Jasinski now working against the trap. Floats a pass across to Drozel. Drozel gets one more ahead. This one's going to be mishandled briefly by Rummel. Rummel goes to the floor trying to save it. Now we've got a couple of players on the floor, and Sumter actually comes up with it and manages to get rid of the basketball without traveling. She moves it over to Irwin. Ball goes now to Swartfager. Swartfager across the timeline. Drozel moving, this is Rummel moving with her in defense. Pass goes inside to Sumter, back out to Irwin. Irwin, 3 off the wing, no good. Rebound tracked down by Jenkins. Jenkins brings it out across the baseline to Irwin. One more goes across to Harris. Harris off the far wing, moves it up top to Swartfager. Swartfager, little fake to her right, goes back to her left to Harris. Harris, of course, the dynamic outside shooter. Here's a pop-out pass to Sumter, who can shoot from outside, too. And she knocks down the 3. And that is a 7-0 advantage now for the Lady Mustangs, who immediately get a steal. Go back to Harris. Harris for 3, no good. This rebound will be tracked down by Jasinski. Jasinski across the timeline. Swartfager waits for her there off the screen. Good pick and roll there by number 23, Drazel, but we're going to see a turnover here. Rummel's pass is going to be scooped up by the Lady Mustangs. Corner 3 here on the way from Irwin, no good. Rebound. No, I'm sorry, that was Swartfager. The rebound is going to be pulled down by the Lady Vikings. Drazel, top of the key, moves it to Jasinski on the far wing. The Lady Mustangs looking for an opportunity here maybe to pick off another pass. Ball is going to go toward the baseline to Rummel. Rummel no good on the jumper. Ball goes out of bounds across the baseline. Will stay with the Lady Mustangs. So far, everything is coming up Laurel Highlands, Bill, after about 3 minutes of play.
Yeah, the Lady Mustangs just seem to be everywhere right now, Josh. You know, they're causing turnovers. And they've actually missed a couple wide open shots, too. You don't see them miss all that often. So it could easily be 10, 13 nothing. There's a corner 3, no good.
Good ball movement there by the Lady Mustangs. This one will stay with Laurel Highlands. And we'll see a new player check in. This is going to be number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh. Rumbaugh will step in for Laurel Rummel. Lady Mustangs ready to send this one in. Swartfager, big pass out to Sumter. Sumter from near the foul line to Taylor. Irwin on our wing. Irwin going to circle around and go to Harris. Harris has Swartfager to her left. She's going to direct traffic and come back our way to Irwin. Irwin thinking about going inside to Sumter. Instead, they're going to swing it back across from Swartfager to Harris. Harris up top to Irwin. Irwin moves it our way to Swartfager. The Lady Mustangs looking for the shot they want here and taking their time. Harris going to move to our side. On our sideline, comes off the wing, back up top to Irwin. One more goes to Sumter. Sumter with a 15-footer, no good. Rebound going to be tied up between Jasinski and Swartfager. And the possession arrow will award the basketball to the Lady Vikings.
Josh, while we have a break in the action here for a minute, I just want to thank the athletic director here, James Eccles, for helping us get set up. And they have a nice new bleachers here at Mount Pleasant since the last time I've been here. We're up in the balcony, so it's a nice setup for us. So thank him and the school district of Mount Pleasant for helping us out tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He was very helpful, gave a lot of his time to us when we first got here to make sure we had everything we needed set up. And he did a very, very good and very thoughtful job with his help for us, too. Here's a ball poked out of bounds following a Lady Mustang steal. And the Mustangs there looking to work that one inside. Now we'll see a couple of substitutions each way. Carmela Spallone checking in for the Lady Vikings, and Righteous Richardson. Good pass here to Harris, and Harris is going to draw the foul. I believe that is our first foul of the contest. No good on the shot, but she will shoot 2.
You know, the Lady Mustangs really moving the ball around against that zone and really looking for their shot. You know, they're getting her looks too.
Harris, one of the leading scorers on this Lady Mustangs team, gets one to stick there. First foul shot is good. And Harris has scored her first point of the contest. Second shot on its way. This one is going to bounce out, and the rebound is going to be seized by the Lady Vikings, number 12, Carmela Spallone. But a turnover right away. Ball goes back to the Lady Vikings, and here's an easy tap in there for Jenkins. And I think we've got a timeout taken by head coach Scott Hillen for the Lady Vikings. This is going to be a 30-second timeout with a 10-0 game with 3:25 remaining. That will give Mount Pleasant a need for a timeout. We want to take a moment again and recognize everyone who helped make this broadcast possible for you this evening. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, the Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. We're here tonight on the second day of the new year in historic Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. Mount Pleasant with origins going all the way back to the late 18th century, and officially this community was organized in 1828. So plenty of history here in the borough of Mount Pleasant, home to about 4,200 people. Here's a baseline jumper, and the first bucket of the game is going to be knocked down for the Lady Vikings by number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh. And Mount Pleasant is on the board. They trail 10-2. The Lady Mustangs working the basketball now to the far wing, back up top to Richardson, our way to Swartfager. Swartfager thinks about a shot, pulls it down, goes to Harris. They swing it around again. Richardson will move it back up top, near the top of the key to Swartfager. Ball goes to the corner to Sumter. Now it's back with Swartfager again. Lady Mustangs looking for their spot here as Bill mentioned earlier they are in no hurry. 2:40 to play in the first quarter. They go inside to Sumter, and Sumter gets one to roll down. And Sumter's presence inside has immediately proved important in this game. She already has 7 points. Big pass here for the Lady Vikings. Nearly jumped. And this one's going to be tipped out of bounds by Harris. And Bill, certainly we can appreciate the fact that the Lady Mustangs were missing Sumter. And the last game that we worked on together, we see already here, less than 6 minutes into this contest, the difference that she makes for this team.
Yeah, she's a very important piece to this Lady Mustang squad. And, she comes into the game averaging just under 12 points a game. And, what she does out there, not only scoring, but defensively and handling the ball was was a big loss for the Lady Mustangs when she was out. Hopefully, though, there's a steal by Harris. We'll finish that thought in a second.
Rumbaugh has that one picked off by Harris. Harris coming back the other way, top of the key. Moves it our way to Richardson. Richardson looks at the cutter through the paint. That's Swartfager. Richardson's going to hold it. Swartfager comes up to give some help. Ball gets moved across now to Harris on the far wing. Back up top to Richardson. 12-2 your score, 1:45 to play. And Swartfager on the cut is going to draw some contact near the block. And we're going to see a foul called on the floor against number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh.
Yeah, Josh, just to finish that thought on Sumter, hopefully, we saw Regis Richardson give him some good minutes. Chloe Price off the bench gave him some good minutes in her absence. So hopefully I gave him a little more experience and help with their depth a little bit, when it comes time when it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, that will, as the season goes on, prove to be important for just about any team, including this Lady Mustangs team, which has so much talent on this roster. But certainly you want everyone to be able to carve out their role and know what they're able to bring to the team as the season wears on. Here's an inside look to Sumter. Sumter goes up for 2, no good. Rebound will go to number 21, Rummel. Rummel coming back the other way, pushes it ahead to Jasinski. Jasinski going to bring it to the top of the key and set up the play. Pass comes our way to Spallone. Spallone looks inside, number 24, Trainer. Little pop-out pass here to 2, Kayla Rumbaugh. And we're going to have a double dribble following the Lady Mustangs rebound. This is a Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings team as Taylor Irwin checks back in for the Lady Mustangs. This is a Lady Vikings team that has, at times, struggled to score. 59 seconds left here in the first quarter. They have played a few close games. They're still looking for their first win. They've lost a couple of games by just a single basket. A few other games, the Lady Vikings had some difficulty getting their offense moving. And right now they're looking to end the first quarter as strong as possible. Deflected pass there by Sumter. Ball scooped up by Harris, but then Harris is going to lose it. Tries to get it back herself. A couple of players in after this one. It's going to ultimately go to number 23, Riley Drazel. Drazel moves it to the short corner. Jumper there from number 12. Carmela Spallone is no good. This one going to stay with the Lady Vikings, though, on a touch by the Lady Mustangs as the ball traveled across the sideline. 25.9 seconds to go. Ball comes in. The Lady Vikings here looking for a final opportunity. Spallone is going to float one up. No good. And Harris is not quite able to save the rebound. Sumter and Harris together had both pursued that one out of bounds, and Harris tried to save it, was not quite able to. Drazel is going to step out and send this one in. Aringo back in the game for the Lady Vikings. 18.1 seconds. Pass is going to be jumped here by Richardson on the inbound. Coming back the other way now, the Lady Mustangs could possibly set themselves up for a final shot. Harris, big pass across to Taylor Irwin, and that shot's on its way. No good off the side of the rim. 6 seconds to play. Rebound pulled down by the Lady Vikings. And they will get a final shot off, and it's a much better one than I had expected that they would get. Riley Drazel putting it right there off the rim, but no good. 12-2 your score at the end of the first quarter. And Bill, in some ways, this is maybe what we expected to see. The Lady Mustangs probably opening things up a little bit after that really low-scoring game they played against Indiana. Certainly several of their players are hopeful to score, hopeful to put as many points on the board as possible, and a really good first quarter from Sumter.
Yeah, Josh, you look at it on paper, this is pretty much what you expect. The Lady Mustangs, they had a lot of high percentage shots they missed in that first quarter. So this 12-2 score really could be about 20-2 very easily, So I look for the Mustangs to really push this lead out in the second quarter and, really take control of this game.
We'll see if the Lady Mustangs are able to do that. The Lady Vikings did have a few strong possessions there near the end of the quarter, and they did get on the board just a few moments ago, which produced your 12-2 score. If you're watching this game on BreezeLine or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television to find the archived broadcasts, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for live games, facebook.com/South Union TV. Thank you again for checking us out tonight here in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. Ball comes across here to Irwin on the wing. Irwin back up top to Harris. Harris one more to Swartfager, to Jenkins, who works it out of the corner. Coming back into the corner is Swartfager. Going to receive the pass, then back to Jenkins. Big one across to Harris, and good job there by Aringo as the Lady Mustangs had set up Sumter to give herself position on the near block, but Aringo fires an arm out just in time to knock away a pass of what would have been a very easy look for Sumter. Ball comes in from the baseline to Harris. Harris to Jenkins, now up top to Irwin. Far wing to Swartfager. Swartfager, Harris top of the key, thought about a shot, will go to Irwin. Irwin for three, and Taylor Irwin knocks that one down to make it 15-2 here with 7:15 to play in the second quarter. And now the Lady Mustangs are going to trap, and we'll have a full timeout taken by the Lady Vikings head coach Scott Hillen with 7:14 to play in quarter number 2 in a 15-2 contest. We are here in Mount Pleasant, southern Westmoreland County. Mount Pleasant home to about 4,200 people. That's really near the high water mark for this community. If you roll the clock back into the mid-20th century, Mount Pleasant was home to just over 6,000 people about 80 years ago, and now the population has declined ever so slightly to 4,200. Many similarities between this community, Bill, and those who live in the Uniontown area. Of course, industrially speaking, the coal and coke industry, very important here, very important back home in Uniontown. And both of these communities saw significant miners' strikes in the 1890s that did result in some violent confrontation where there were some casualties involved as a result of those strikes. Ball comes in now. The Lady Vikings trying to find the timeline, the double team all over them. And here's nearly a turnover, just barely saved by Laurel Rummel. Rummel moves it over to Drazel, and they will just make the timeline in time with a big pass ahead to Traynor. Next pass is going to be picked off by Jenkins, and then Jenkins will collide with Traynor.
Yeah, the Lady Vikings just did get the ball across the midcourt line, then they promptly turned it over. Little out of sync there.
And I think, Bill, in that particular situation, that was what we might like to call a very long 10 seconds.
Yes, I think it was a slow 10 seconds.
Harris coming back the other way, gains the center line very quickly and is unfortunately going to travel as she came to a stop. One too many steps for the far side official, and with 6:48 to play, it will be Lady Vikings basketball. The Lady Vikings, despite the fact that the Lady Mustangs have played a really strong opening to this game, they're really only a few possessions from making this interesting. They just need to get a few opportunities for themselves. They've had trouble with this Lady Mustangs press so far here in quarter number 2. Sumter across to Harris. Harris working off our wing. Little pass to the elbow to Sumter. Floats one up off the glass. No good. Gets her own rebound. Fires a baseline pass to Jenkins. One more goes back outside to Irwin. And Taylor Irwin has had the hot hand here in quarter number 2. She knocks down another 3 and has got 6 so far in the contest. Good bounce pass here for the Lady Vikings. They're going to get across the timeline and then are almost immediately fouled.
Yeah, nice looking shot there by Irwin. Those were some of the shots I was talking about in the first half, first quarter they were missing. Irwin's connected on 2 so far, wide open 3. So
yes, they were very, very good shots too, hitting nothing.
Nothing but net.
Yeah. Coming back the other way, the Lady Vikings off the Irwin foul, trying to get something set up for themselves here. And the presence of the Lady Mustangs really just has stopped Mount Pleasant from getting anything inside. This is going to be a travel from Jasinski as she comes to a stop across the near elbow. And it'll be a turnover and Lady Mustangs basketball. Ball bounced in here to Harris, and she'll go back to Swartfager. 5:46 to play here in quarter number 2. 18-2 is your score. Harris thought about going inside to Irwin. Instead, she moves it, back up top to Irwin, top of the key. Irwin had cut out. Loose ball here goes to Swartfeger, pops it out to Irwin, and right now Taylor Irwin cannot miss off the wing. Another big three, and she's got 9 points. What a quarter it's been for her. Now Harris nearly comes up with a steal.
Now Josh, if this was the old video game NBA Jam, they would be saying she's on fire.
The basketball would be on fire, yes. About at this point.
Everyone is on fire right now. 3 straight threes for her.
And you'd get that little graphic where the net burns up as the ball passes through.
That's kind of what I expect to see out there.
The Lady Vikings have taken a 30-second timeout. 21-2 is your score. 5:22 to play.
And you know, Josh, like probably the craziest thing this whole game so far is the Lady Mustangs are up 21-2, and their leading scorer, A.R. Jenkins, only has 2 points.
Yeah, they really have not needed a great deal. Sumter, of course, has done a good job for them inside, but even amongst her points was one made three-pointer, so they really have not had to rely on the inside game too much. Swartfeger hustles over and ties up the inbound pass. They wanted to go to Jasinski. The possession arrow is going to favor the Lady Vikings. Swartfeger, of course, is just hustle the whole time, never seems to run out of energy, and we're seeing her deny. Here's a pick-off by Sumter, who looked the part of a strong safety coming across the court, snags that one out of the air and lays it in for 2.
There's an inside bucket for you, Josh.
Yes. That was a good one, too. 23-2. The Lady Vikings here on a double bounce pass, trying to gain the timeline. This is going to be a turnover. Yeah, Irwin dives on the floor and ties that one up. Falling down on top of her, number 23, Riley Drazel.
You know, one thing I've noticed too, Josh, about this Lady Mustang offense right now, Harris is playing off the ball a little bit, so I don't know if that's something that Coach Stu Davis is working on with them, or, you know, it has to be by design.
I think what's nice about that, Bill, here's a three from Swartfeger, rolls out, rebound goes to the Lady Vikings. I think what's nice about that is, you know, Harris can run the offense for you. If you could move her into a position where she can just focus on more of that shooting guard role, she would be that much more dangerous. And here's a made basket from Maringo from about 16 foot. Knocks that one down, and it's 23-4. Harris can really do it all for you outside and is a great defender, too. The Lady Mustangs have all the pieces to be successful against just about anybody. Ball moves to our wing to Irwin. Inside look here to Jenkins. Jenkins, nice move in the paint for 2. And Jenkins lays that one in. She's got herself 4 points tonight, and it's 25-4 here with 4:03 to play in quarter number 2. Jasinski trying to weave her way through the pressure from Swartfeger. Swartfeger is just so quick and is virtually everywhere on the court at one time. Right now she's focused on Jasinski, and I suspect that's making life very difficult for the Lady Vikings, who probably want to work through Jasinski whenever possible. Turnover coming back the other way. Big pass to Jenkins. Jenkins draws some contact. Sumter draws even more on the putback, and she'll be going to the foul line.
Yeah, nice offensive rebound there by Sumter, and got fouled going back up. You know, if we go back to that last possession, Josh, if Jenkins gets the ball down that low in that position, you can almost put 2 points on the board. You know, there's not much the Lady Vikings or pretty much anybody could do about it. She just had too good a position with the ball to stop.
Sumter knocks down the first one on the floor right now for the Lady Mustangs. We've got Richardson, Harris, Sumter, who has connected on both foul shots alongside Irwin. Here's a big pass going to be picked off by Harris. And also on the floor right now for the Lady Mustangs is number 13, Lola McLusack. McLusack, nice cut here going to the basket. Harris going to keep it herself, dribble in across the last peg, tries to get it to go down, gets her own rebound, and is fouled. She'll be going to the foul line here. 27-4 is your score. And Bill, this sort of builds off what you mentioned earlier in the broadcast as far as opportunity for some of these Lady Mustangs to go in a game like this where it's firmly in hand, even this early. First shot from Harris on the way is good. You do afford yourself an opportunity to send in some other players to season them a little bit, to get some minutes very early in the game. You know, this is, of course, not the fourth quarter by any means. You're still before halftime. And a chance to see
Josh,
some more experience from that bench.
you can never have too much depth. You know, girls get injured, players get in foul trouble. You never know when you're going to need more than 6 or 7 girls. So it's good to see these Lady Mustangs get a little experience here.
Good screen there by Jasinski to free Rummel. Rummel gets the timeline, goes to the baseline. Now she needs some help. Richardson right there with her. Rummel pivoting around, throwing one out to Aringo. Aringo back to Rummel in the corner. Rummel coming out of the corner. Trapped there again. She's going to get some help here from number 2, Spallone. Spallone floats one up, no good. Rebound pulled down by Sumter. Sumter going to outlet to Harris. Harris across the timeline will be cut off. Good defense there by Kayla Rumbaugh. Loose ball will be awarded to the Lady Mustangs, so Rumbaugh will step over to the sideline to cover up this inbound pass from Harris. Harris directing traffic, wants to go to Sumter, gets the pass into her, then it comes right back to Harris. More good defense there by number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh, who was with Harris every step of the way. Ball goes across to Irwin on the far wing to Sumter. High post and out to Richardson, and Righteous Richardson knocks down the 3. That has been the name of the game here for the Lady Mustangs. In quarter number 2, they have been great from outside the arc, and it's 31-4 with 2:12 to play. Coming back now, the Lady Mustangs cut off at high post. Move this one out to number 12, Spallone. No good on the shot. Rebound goes to Harris. 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining here in quarter number 2. Harris back at point. McLusack comes up on the wing to receive this pass. Now top of the key to Sumter. One more back across to Harris. One thing too, Bill, that you can't say enough for it. It's something you've really got to see, and I'm sure our viewers are able to see it on their screen, but seeing it in person, I think, speaks the loudest. And here's Harris on a drive, tripped up. She'll be called with a travel, though. Ball going to go to the Lady Vikings, and we'll see 3 new Lady Mustangs check in. The Lady Mustangs move so well when they don't have the basketball.
Absolutely.
You do not see any idle offense out of them. Everyone is cutting and moving, and watching them move without the ball, I think, speaks so much to not only their understanding of the offense that Coach Davis wants to run, but just the routine that he has built into his team. And they're knowing where they need to be. You don't see, I think, really what's great about their offense is you don't see many miscues where the ball is thrown to nobody, because everyone knows where they need to be or where a player needs to be at all times. Here's a turnover by the Lady Mustangs. Ball going to go to the far sideline to number 10, Chloe Price. Price moves it to Swartfager. Price among 3 Lady Mustangs who just checked in. Inside look here to Jenkins. Jenkins going to lose the basketball to number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh. Rumbaugh has played some very strong defense this quarter, trying to drive to the hoop, loses control of it. Now a few players are tied up, including number 12, Carmela Spallone, for the Lady Vikings. This ball will stay with Mount Pleasant. Stepping out, number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh, to send this in. She's going to stand right on the S in Vikings. Ball comes into Jasinski. And Jasinski goes up top with 54 seconds to play here in the first half. 31-4. This pass is going to get away from all the Lady Vikings and be seized by Taylor Irwin. Irwin wanted a bounce pass here to Swartfager. That pass is jumped by Kayla Rumbaugh, but then Rumbaugh hits the floor and slides across the baseline. Thankfully, everyone is okay. A little bit of contact there at the end of that play as well. Ball comes into Jenkins for the Lady Mustangs to Price. Price, plenty of contact there again from Spallone. She's able to get it to Irwin. On the floor right now for the Lady Mustangs, Irwin, Swartfager, Price, Jenkins. Here's a good pass to Swartfager along with Richardson. And Swartfager not quite able to get that one to go. Jasinski with the rebound for the Lady Vikings. Jasinski gets the timeline. 22 seconds to play. Going to size up a three-point shot. No good. Rebound will go to the sideline. And then we'll have a foul called as a couple of players collide there.
It's like it's going to be on Swartfager. Her first.
Not a whole lot of fouls called so far in this one.
No, there really hasn't been.
Pretty clean game both ways. This one is going to be bounced off of Richardson's leg purposefully by number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh, as Rumbaugh was worried she was running out of time on the inbound pass. Now she's going to be able to slip one into number 24, Danica Traynor, but ball gets away from the Lady Vikings. It is saved off the touch here by Jasinski, and we're down to just 6 seconds on the clock. Jasinski moves this one across to Spallone. Spallone on the drive is going to be fouled. And so with 1.7 seconds on the clock, Carmela Spallone will go to the foul line for a chance to pick up a couple here for the Lady Vikings before halftime. First one on its way for Spallone, and it rattles out. Second one from Spallone is perfect, and it's 31-5. The Mustangs will inbound the ball, and Irwin floats a shot down the opposite way. No good. 31-5 is your halftime score. We want to take a moment again and recognize all those sponsors who have made this evening's broadcast possible. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and the South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. If you're watching this game on Breezeline or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television to find the archive broadcasts, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for live games. Facebook.com/South Union TV. We're going to step aside here at halftime for just a few minutes, and we'll be back. There are 10 minutes now on the clock for halftime, and we'll resume our broadcast in probably 5 or 6 minutes. This is Joshua Scully alongside Bill Dice. We'll be back with you then. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Mount Pleasant Area High School in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, as we have reached halftime here in our contest between the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs and the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings. Your score is 31-5 in favor of the Lady Mustangs. Leading the way for the Lady Mustangs so far in this contest has been Ariana Sumter, who has been good for 11 points. Taylor Irwin, who scored 9, all from beyond the arc and all in the second quarter. Those are your two leading scores. They have put together between themselves 20 of the 31 points that Laurel Highlands has put onto the board. The Mustangs scored 12 in the first and 19 in the second quarter for a total of 31. For the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings, it's a total of 5 points so far in the contest, 2 points in the first quarter, 3 points in the second quarter. That scoring this evening done by number 25, Grace Aringo, who has 2. She is complemented by number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh, who has 2, and number 12, Carmela Spallone, who knocked down a foul shot for a total of 5 points for the Lady Vikings. Coming out here in the second half, the Lady Vikings will now be moving left to right across your screen. They are in their white uniform, red and blue trim, blue number. The Lady Mustangs will be moving right to left across your screen. They are in their red uniform, blue number, blue and white trim. So far, Bill, essentially what we expected to see in this contest as far as the Lady Mustangs probably having a little bit of frustration coming off that difficult game against Indiana. Indiana, very good team. The Lady Mustangs did not have an opportunity to do much scoring in that game. They have already scored more here tonight than they did in that contest. 31, a good number for a first half.
Yeah, good first half performance by the Lady Mustangs. You know, they got off to a little bit of a slow start in the first quarter. I felt they missed some shots they typically make, but second quarter they got it together and put a couple more of those shots in the bucket and got 19 points in the second quarter. So 19 in the second, 12 in the first, 31 at the half. You know, that's not too bad. You know, they're comfortably ahead by 26 points at the half. You know, they look to go into the mercy rule here pretty soon and get ready for Belle Vernon. They face Belle Vernon on Monday, January 6th. That's a home game. We'll have the action for you here on South Union Township Sports Network. Tony O'Neill will be on the call with me for that one. So a couple things they can work on, get ready for that game on Monday. You know, Belle Vernon is ahead of them in the section race right now. Belle Vernon's 2-1, we're 1-2, so they need to leapfrog Belle Vernon right now to get up into third place.
And I think what makes that section record, when you look at the record for this Lady Mustangs team, what's a little misleading about that is they have played 2 very difficult games in the section already between South Park and Elizabeth Ford. And, of course, tonight they are anticipating what would be their second section win. But Laurel Highlands, the Lady Mustangs, should have some easier section games in their future. Of course, the one section win so far coming against Southmoreland.
Yeah, if you take a look at the standings, South Park and EF are both 3-0 in the section. They're at the top, so, they got some work to do to catch them. But, they can definitely beat both of those teams and do it as we get started with the ball in the second half.
Absolutely. Both of those games, of course, very close for the Lady Mustangs. Inside look here to Sumter in the paint. He passes out to Harris. Harris, far wing. The three-point look is good. And Harris now has herself 5 points in this contest. 34-5 is your score. Pressure from the Lady Mustangs remains in place. Ball goes ahead here to Aringo. Now back over to Jasinski. Jasinski moves it away from us to Trainer. Ball goes into the corner. Lady Vikings going to operate out of this corner. The bounce pass nearly taken away as Laurel Rummel wanted to move it back out to Trainer. Double team nearly able to seize the basketball as it is. Ball went out across the sideline and it is going to go to the Lady Vikings. Inside pass here now on a little drive across the elbow to number 24, Danica Trainer. No good on the shot. The Lady Mustangs have the rebound. They get the ball to Harris. Harris comes across the timeline, moves it to Schwartfeger in the corner. Back to the wing to Harris. Harris off that wing. Passes through to Irwin. Irwin for 3, and Taylor Irwin just cannot miss from out there. That is her 4th made three-point shot of this game.
So, Josh, we almost have to count that as one less point and hit the rim that time.
That's true. It did sort of rattle in where the other ones had been virtually perfect. Here's an inside look to Jenkins. No good off the rim. Rebound pulled down by Riley Drozel.
Of course, I'm joking. Irwin's played a heck of a game here tonight.
12
she shoots
points.
like that, you got to like the Ladies Mustangs' chances against anybody. And we are in the mercy rule now, Josh. We're up to 32 points, so we'll have a running clock the rest of the second half. So we'll be out here quick.
6:20 to go in the third quarter. Inside look here to Drozel. Drozel goes up, and this one bounces out. The rebound is going to escape everybody and stay with the Lady Vikings. Irwin with 12 points does now lead all scorers in this contest.
Yeah, so if anybody's watching at home, make sure you tell Grandma to turn the game on quick because it's going to be over quick.
That's true. The mercy rule does really expedite these contests. Here's a turn. Baseline jumper for number 21, Laurel Rummel, no good. Rebound is pulled down by Irwin. Irwin ahead to Swartfager. Swartfager on our sideline. Working here against Jasinski. Floats one up. No good off the glass. Rebound, Sumter. Sumter goes up for two. And now she leads all scorers. She has 13 tonight. 5:37 to play here in the third quarter. 39-5. Jasinski across the timeline. Going to move our way. Sends this one back across to number 24, Danica Traynor. Inside look to Ringo. No good off the glass. Traynor with the rebound, and she gets one to rattle in off the glass. And it's 39-7 now in favor of the Lady Mustangs. That's the first made basket here for the Lady Vikings in the second half. Harris working off the far wing. Up top to Irwin. One more to Swartfager. Nice inside look here to Jenkins. Goes up for two. And Ayara Jenkins made that look very easy. 41-7. Now your score. Coming back the other way. 4:55 to go in quarter number three. Jasinski up top to number 24, Traynor. Danica Traynor going to send one back our way to Morgan Jasinski. Jasinski now across to Traynor. The Lady Mustangs a little more relaxed here in the second half. Their defense essentially back inside the arc. Jasinski looking for a cutter. Gets one from Drozel, but then the ball is taken away from Sumter. Sumter, big leading pass to Harris. Harris, one more to Swartfager. Good defense there by number 25, Grace Ringo, who got back and was able to get a handout and knock that one away.
Yeah, nice hustle there. Get back in the passing lane, knock it out, prevent the easy layup.
Swartfager will send this one in from the baseline. It's going to go to Jenkins, and Jenkins knocks down the little jump shot from the first peg, 43-7. Jenkins and Sumter together tonight have now combined for over 20 points. The Lady Mustangs have a strong inside game thanks to those two players. Here's Traynor, going to lose this one to Sumter. Sumter flips it ahead to Irwin, but then coming back the other way is Jasinski. Jasinski wanted one more pass ahead to Drozel, but the Lady Mustangs take that one away. Now coming back the opposite way. Here's Sumter off the baseline. Little move, makes her drive. No good. Rebound goes to Ringo. Ringo will outlet to Jasinski. Jasinski across the timeline on the drive through the paint. Floats one up. No good. Rebound Swartfager. 3:28 to play here in quarter number three. 43-7 remains your score. Thank you, as always, for checking us out on the South Union Township Sports Network. Here's Harris on the wing. Goes up top to Irwin. Irwin, one more to Swartfager. Now to the corner. Here's Jenkins for three out of the corner. Yes. And Ayara Jenkins splashes that one down, and she has 11 so far tonight. 46-7 is your score. At halftime, your score was 31-5, so this third quarter again dominated by the Lady Mustangs so far, 15-2. High post look to Ringo, and Ringo is going to be held there.
Yeah, Josh, you know, the Lady Mustangs, their perimeter defense has really been outstanding tonight. You know, they're harassing the ball handlers for Mount Pleasant all game. And, you know, you look and see, oh, man, only 7 points on the scoreboard. Mount Pleasant must not be very good. But the Lady Mustangs defense has really just been that good.
They have been very, very quick tonight. Very good with the double team trap.
Sumter having an issue with their shoe.
Looks like she's okay. I think she gets some help there from Taylor Swartfager.
I think she needed a shoehorn down there, Josh.
Pass comes in.
I mean, she is a senior, but not a senior citizen. My goodness. Looked like me trying to put my shoe on in the morning without stretching.
Coming back the other way, the Lady Mustangs, Richardson to Swartfager. Inside look here to Irwin, back up top to Richardson. Now Swartfager will take the three. This one's off the rim, no good. Rebound, Jasinski. Jasinski coming back the other way to the far wing. It is incredible, Bill. Just this season, you and I have actually worked together on a few games. Here, Swartfager picks off a pass where players have lost their shoes somehow. And when I think about how thoroughly most players lace up their shoes, and you've got ankle braces and all different sorts of equipment, and still somehow the shoe comes off. And
Well, yeah, I mean, you get those shoes tied tight, and it is a predicament to get them back on. You know, I joke about the shoehorn, but, you know, when you have them laced that tight,
right,
you have to completely unlace them to get them back on. And she was just trying to slip them on like a pair of Crocs, and that just wasn't working.
Richardson knocks down the first foul shot, 47-7.
And Josh, while we have a moment, we will be back tomorrow. We'll have some boys varsity action. We'll, me and you and Gary Frankhouse, we'll have the Uniontown McKeesport game, and Brian and Tony will be down at Franklin Regional for the Laurel Highlands Franklin Regional game. So we'll have 2 games on tomorrow night for everybody out there.
Yeah,
and then we'll be back,
basketball.
And we'll be back Monday with the Lady Mustangs again.
And maybe to Bill, and this pass is going to get away as it's over the top of number 2, Kayla Rummel, Lady Vikings basketball. With the weather expected to be a little interesting over the course of the next few days, many people may be at home and want to take in the game from home.
Hey, wide drive, you can just pick it up on the Facebook Live, assuming it works.
Yes, hopefully no power outages. Jasinski, a deep 3, and what a make. Morgan Jasinski absolutely drained one from probably 24 feet. What a shot. 48-10 your score, 42 seconds to play. The Lady Mustangs have Chloe Price, Richardson, McLusack all in the game right now. Here's a foul called.
The Lady Mustangs have gone to a complete reserve lineup.
Yes, they have. Also on the floor, Madison Brooks and Isabella Paschk. First one from Price is good. (49-10) with 26 seconds to play here in quarter number 3. Second one from Price on its way. That one's good too. And even 50-10 with 23 seconds to play. Coming back the other way is Jasinski.
Just shoot it from there.
That's more or less what she did last time. And here's a turnover, although we got a tie-up at the end of that.
And that might do the quarter.
That may be it.
Now they're going to get it in.
And a final 3-point attempt by number 12, Carmela Spallone, is off the mark. And that's going to do it here for quarter number 3. A quarter, again, dominated by the Lady Mustangs, 19-5 in that quarter alone for a score of 50-10. And after 3 quarters of play, the Lady Mustangs are just 8 minutes away from a second section victory. You heard Bill and I mention, of course, the broadcast coming up. We've got 2 games for you tomorrow night. We've got 1 game coming up for you on Monday. The Lady Mustangs back in action on Monday. And we do have some inclement weather rolling into our area. In fact, Uniontown, Pennsylvania, right now is under a winter weather advisory for tomorrow morning. Expecting a few inches of snow to come into our area beginning around 4 a.m. And the communities in Wharton and Henry Clay Townships, Stewart Township, to the southeast portion of the county, expected to see quite a bit more potentially. That's all during the day tomorrow between the hours of 4 a.m. and noon. And then Sunday into Monday could be really interesting. The snow is going to start flying sometime Sunday afternoon and may not stop until Monday afternoon. Here's a baseline jumper. That's a 3. Knocked down by Jenkins. What a shot as we've got quarter number 4 underway. But, Bill, some portions of Fayette County could see upwards of 13 inches of snow.
They put that score on the wrong side, and there they go. They got it fixed now. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say just potentially over a foot for some places as Sumter swoops one up. No good.
And you know what, Josh? I'm looking forward to a good old-fashioned snowstorm. Like we have the weather forecasters. They always predict, we're going to get 8 inches, and we get like 8 snowflakes.
Right.
So I'm ready for it. I'm sure my son Manny is too. He got his sled all shined up and ready to go.
Truly, it's been a long time, at least for the city of Uniontown and the immediate area around it, since we have seen significant accumulation. Several years. Here's a foul going to be called on Sumter as number 12, Carmela Spallone goes up for a shot from the baseline. And it does look like we're going to see 5 new Lady Mustangs check in. First shot, no good.
Yeah, good move by Coach Stu Davis here, Josh. You know, there's no reason to leave your regulars out there and have somebody risk an injury at this point in the game. 43 points with just under 7 minutes to go. So nice job by Coach Stu Davis.
That one knocked down by Spallone, 53-11. Your score, Richardson will run point. She's flanked by Pash and Price. McLusack also on the floor right now. Here's Price fouled on the drive alongside number 23, Madison Brooks.
You know, Josh, I always find it funny in these running clock games, the officials seem to get a little more foul happy too. You know, it really shortens the game. You know,
yes.
when the clock's running and then they go to the foul line, and you know, it really shortens the game even more.
Less action. Maybe a slightly easier situation for them too. Second shot on its way, no good. Rebound going to be pulled down by number 12, Carmela Spallone. Spallone keeping this one herself, trying to weave her way through traffic. She's going to have a carry there as she collides with number 23, Madison Brooks.
You know, Josh, early in the broadcast, I mentioned, you know, I haven't been here for a few years. They got all new signage here at Mount Pleasant too. All these banners are all brand new from the last time I've been here. I really like these 1,000-point banners to our right.
They have a very nice gym here, and we're told this is, technically speaking, their junior high gymnasium, but they use it for their major sporting events. Good pass ahead to number 2, Kayla Rumbaugh. At least that's what was explained to us when we came in.
Yeah, we were trying to figure that one out. The junior high gym has more seating than the high school gym somehow, but that's how they did it here. I almost missed that steal.
Jasinski goes up for 2 and gets it off the steal. Richardson caught her on the way up, and Jasinski's going to shoot 1.
Josh, that was one of those situations where, you know, if you're ever driving with somebody and they like to look at people when they talk to them, it's like, hey, you're driving. Don't be looking at me while you're driving. I can still hear you even though you're not looking at me. And that's what I was doing. I was looking at you, throwing at, and I almost missed the steal.
Morgan Jasinski knocks down the foul shot, 53-14. Jasinski is a really good player for this Lady Vikings team, and in the early goings of this game, you could tell that it had frustrated Mount Pleasant when Swartfager more or less took her out of the game. Swartfager was in her hip pocket for the first 2 quarters. Nice take there by Richardson. And the Lady Vikings were just not able to use her as the distributor or scorer for over half the game. Swartfager just did not allow that to happen. Jasinski going to direct some traffic here and moves it our way to Spallone. Spallone going to find the edge, goes up for 2, and will have it. Good shot there by Carmela Spallone. And it's 55-16 with 4:45 to play. Ball comes into Price. Then back to Richardson.
Yeah, Josh, you know, Swartzfeger she really made it tough on her. You know, I like to look at like NBA comparisons. She's kind of like a Gary the Glove Payton out there on her, and like no room to breathe, couldn't dribble, couldn't shoot.
Well, if Gary Payton is listening tonight, I'm sure he would appreciate that mention. Of course, Gary Payton, for many years, very, very good piece of a great run the Seattle Supersonics had. Coming back the other way, what a move.
Nice spin move.
And a bucket. What a play for the Lady Mustangs. If we've talked about Gary Payton, we're going to say then that number 23, Madison Brooks, is the part of Sean Kemp there on that move, the Rain Man.
Yeah, the layup version of Sean
yes.
Kemp. Now, Sean Kemp would have thrown that down and probably broke the backboard. Yeah, but Sean Kemp, he's a very interesting figure in the NBA. You know, he was very athletic in his younger days, and as his career went on, he put on quite a bit of weight. And
he did.
Lost his leaping ability, so it was kind of a very crazy transformation for him.
Boy, in his prime, he was something to see. And look at this.
Reverse layup.
My goodness.
Chloe Price.
Chloe Price with as much touch as you could ever want up off the glass there. A couple of great baskets for this Lady Mustangs team. McLusack stepping up, and now she's going to force the turnover.
You know, Josh, we didn't have a JV game tonight, but this fourth quarter is kind of like a equivalent of a JV game for both teams.
And quite honestly, Bill, the Lady Mustangs have looked very good. They've looked very, very good here in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Ball goes high post to Price. Price pops this one out. Here's a three-point look. Off the mark. Rebound will be saved. And the Lady Vikings able to get that one under control. Coming back the other way. From the corner, Rummel. Up top to Addie Cole for the Lady Vikings, who recently checked in. She's going to bounce one to Drazel.
No and one action.
And Drazel gets this one to go off the glass, and she's fouled on the way. 59-18. Shot on the way and good. Of course, Bill, when you mention Gary Payton, every time I hear his name now, unfortunately, I think of the documentary about Michael Jordan, where they asked Michael Jordan about his NBA Finals matchup against Seattle. And they asked him if he had any trouble with the glove. And, of course, from his perspective, he had no problem.
Of course. I mean, Michael Jordan's a matchup nightmare for everybody.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason he's considered the GOAT.
Floater from Trainer there, no good. She gets her own rebound. This one's going to go back inside to Drazel, no good off the glass. Cole ties this one up on the floor with Richardson.
And you got to think, too, Josh, Michael Jordan was 6'6", Gary Payton was 6 foot.
Right.
So there's quite a bit of a height difference.
I think people tend to forget that about Jordan. 6 foot 6 inches is relatively tall. I know in the NBA there are players far taller than that, but playing his position, he had a lot of height.
Yeah, he, like I said, he's a matchup nightmare. Price for three.
Yes, off the glass.
And the bank is open.
Late in Mount Pleasant. The bank is open. I don't know if there's a branch of the United Bank here, but we do want to thank the United Bank for making this broadcast possible. And inside now is number 3, Carly Surma. And Surma's fouled on the good basket. And Surma's going to stand here at the foul line as the clock ticks down under a minute. 62-21. The Lady Vikings here have really worked in most of their bench as well in the late stages of this game, and they've had several players really step up as well in the fourth quarter. 52 seconds. Price going to move this one to Brooks. Brooks loses it, then ties up what was nearly a clean steal by number 13, Tori Tepper.
Price has 7 points here in this fourth quarter, Josh. Her point per minute percentage is pretty high.
Yes. She has been very good. Ball back out to Richardson. 30 seconds left on the clock. Crossover move here. Richardson going to lose it on the drive. And coming up with it is Tepper. Tepper, one more ahead to number 24. No good on the shot from Trainer. Tepper with the rebound. Tied up with Richardson. 13 seconds on the clock. It's going to go to the Lady Vikings. Riley Drazel is going to step out, send this one into Tepper. No good. Rebound goes to Price. Price going to try to hold it, but it's taken away by Trainer. Trainer goes up for 2. No good at the end. And that's going to bring about your final score, 62-22. We're going to step aside here for just a moment on the South Union Township Sports Network. When we come back, we're going to run over a recap of the game for you. And we're going to acknowledge our sponsors one more time. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. We want to thank our sponsors a final time, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. If you're watching this game on BreezeLine or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television to find the archive broadcast, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for live games. Facebook.com/South Union TV. So this game was 31-5 at halftime. Of course, it ends in a Lady Mustangs victory in a game where we did get to see essentially both teams make use of their bench and give everyone a chance to step out onto the court at the end of this one. And it was a game, too, where we saw the Lady Vikings put some points on the board in the fourth quarter, which I thought was nice, Bill. Certainly a good opportunity for them to sort of highlight some of their strengths. We saw a very strong second half from Morgan Jasinski for the Lady Vikings, who really did not have many opportunities in the first half because Taylor Swartfager made her life so difficult. And, of course, a huge game here tonight for Taylor Irwin, too, from beyond the arc. She was incredible. And had this game been a close one, you could really see someone like Taylor Irwin being the difference maker.
Yeah, a really good game for the Lady Mustangs. Irwin, was shooting the ball very well. Richardson came off the bench and knocked down a three. Price knocked down one off the bench. Maya Harris hit one earlier in the game. So, Mustangs really shot the ball well from outside, and, they're going to be tough to beat going forward, if they shoot the ball like they did tonight. And I joked around about Irwin's one hitting the rim, but I think Lady Mustangs went on a streak there about five in a row without hitting a rim. So, that tells you something about their shooters and their ability. This win brings the Lady Mustangs to 2-2 in the section, drops Mount Pleasant to 0-4. So we have the game against the Belle Vernon Leopards on Monday, which should be an important section matchup for the Lady Mustangs.
And definitely one I think the Lady Mustangs have to feel pretty good about after tonight, because not only did you have a strong showing from Jenkins and Sumter inside, but you had made threes from them too. Really, it was a wonderful night shooting outside the arc for this entire team, but they certainly got it done inside the paint early too. Of course, Sumter really established herself in that first half and made her presence known inside. And this is the kind of game I think the Lady Mustangs are going to want to play moving forward as they start to face some of these section opponents for a first time in Belle Vernon's case, or for a second time once they get back around and begin to see Elizabeth Ford again, South Park again. Of course, those are teams that the Lady Mustangs are going to maybe have an element of revenge as far as those games are concerned, and to want to show South Park and Elizabeth Ford what they are really capable of doing. Great second half, though, for the Lady Mustangs to complement that really strong first half advantage. The Lady Vikings represented themselves very well in the fourth quarter. They kept fighting, kept hustling. So I think if you're head coach Scott Hillen for the Lady Vikings, you can be pleased with that. The fact that your team really played their best basketball in the later stages of the game. Of course, we did have a relatively quick game tonight. It is only 7:08, so we had an hour and maybe 5 or 6 minute game, of course, with the mercy rule that shortens everything up. Bill, are there any final thoughts tonight?
Yeah, no, I just look forward to the Lady Mustangs as they continue their section play and see what happens. There's a lot to be excited about if you're a Lady Mustang fan, and I definitely look forward to seeing them go through the rest of the season and see how they fare in the playoffs.
We're hoping for a very successful season here for this Lady Mustangs team. We want to thank you again for checking us out on the South Union Township Sports Network. This has been a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Again, our final score tonight, 62-22 in favor of the Lady Mustangs. For Bill Dice, this is Joshua Scully. You will see us and hear us again in the future. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a Happy New Year. Hey, how are you?